Paddock. There he is on the right of your screen in the Ricardo colours, and he'll be a very interesting one to watch. He had good speed yesterday, not a lot of luck, but he's hoping to change that over the course of today. Certainly everybody knows that he is not here to make up the numbers. He is not going to be a slouch, and he will definitely be a driver to reckon with out there on the course. So Kian Fardin and Noah Wolf on the front row from Andrea Dupé and Petr Agiv, then Enzo Tarvanichkul, who is the current leader, and then Tim Saleh. Joshua Graham and Alex O'Grady from Tobias Clausen and Joel Pajola, then Sandro Perez, Tiziano Monza, Max Walton and Lewis Werrell.
From Guy Albag, Simon Reckenmacher, Elliot Kaczynski, Gabriel Sarno, Marty Ritonen, Kimi Tanin, Leo Robinson, Sebastian Kapoen, Kirill Kutskov, Jidri Spezel, Timofey Mikhailov, Maria Neto and Sasha Avril. 27 drivers onto the track as we're missing Maria Germano Neto. No, he's with us. Was a bit late to join the party for this A versus H qualifying race of the junior class. Going through the pre-grid, actually, it's always nice because I get to hear some of the advice given by our race director Nigel Edwards to the drivers, especially the ones at the front. They, you know, the advice is always pretty much the same: strong racing but fair racing. Take care of each other coming to the first corner into the starting procedure. So he says that in order for the drivers not to get on hold of themselves, not to get too crazy into that procedure, because we've seen that happening, and in case the formation is not good enough, then we go for an extra lap.
Yeah, it's that common practice, isn't it? You can't win on the first lap, but you can definitely lose. So good from the race director Nigel Edwards just to reiterate that to the drivers, particularly in the junior category who are learning for the first time. That's a false start. They were mighty quick coming out of the final turn. That was just a little bit too early that they went on the throttle there. So a bit of Kian Fardin and Noah Wolf getting very keen to go racing, so they obviously have to slow it right down. And you can always tell, because you're not really meant to be accelerating until you get to the yellow line on the main straight. That's what the yellow line is there for. So you can actually hold the lights on up until that point. It's not until really you get to the yellow lights at the yellow line that the race is meant to start at all. There's Pasquale Lupoli, assistant race director, who is also the race director of the FIA Karting Academy Trophy. But it's interesting because the yellow line is where the cut-off point for when they should start racing is where, to begin. But if they're not in position at that point, then they can call a false start nice and early. If they have accelerated too early, they can also call the false start. So it's up to the drivers. They can obviously try and anticipate the start. But as with what has just happened there, if they get it wrong, then it's obviously not a correct start.
And starting from further back on the grid, you always keep your eyes on the pole sitters and the men in front of you. If they start accelerating and moving, you think, oh, okay, that's the right signal. That's the right time for me to do the same. Not really seeing where the yellow light might be onto the track. So you only think about going racing. So that can be misleading depending on what the leaders might do.
Well, if you consider that Fardin, Wolf, Dupé and Agiv have incredibly limited experience of starting an FIA karting race from the front, they're going to get up on acceleration again as they come off the turn. They're going to do it again. Look at this. The thing is, the drivers at the front are literally coming off the final corner and then just nailing the throttle. That's it. They can't do that. They've got to wait. They have to wait until they're in those two tram lines, and they have to pace themselves. They can't just come off the final turn and blam on the throttle. They have to pace it. They have to control the pace of the field and then go for the throttle whenever. Red flag. They've stopped it. Red flag. Now this is controversial, because obviously this shows you that Fardin and Wolf have not been paying attention to the race director's instructions. They've decided to red flag this. They will bring the drivers either to the, I'm not sure whether they'll bring them to the starting grid or whether they'll bring them into the holding area, but either way the race has been red flagged before it's even begun, because Fardin and Wolf are not controlling the pace of the drivers at the front end of the field. They were coming off the final turn and just nailing the throttle, not really paying attention to the instructions. You've got to pace it. You've got to pace it. And I'm afraid they have not done that. They're going to bring them onto the start-finish straight.
Ooh, I wouldn't like to be in the shoes of Kian Fardin and Noah Wolf, because I'm sure that Nigel Edwards, our race director, is not particularly happy about what's happening on track. He was very firm, just but firm on the terms he was using, Don't take each other out, do the procedures right, and strong racing but fair racing. And as you said, apparently the message wasn't actually put through quite efficiently enough. As whether listening, whether paying attention, sometimes, those young drivers tend to get themselves into the bubble of going racing onto the pre-grid, and sometimes you're not paying attention enough. But it doesn't mean that you have to, doing things wrongly on the track when it comes to starting procedures. So they're going to have a bit of a chat as our race director is going to ask the drivers up front to come forward, and
oh dear,
this is the chat you don't want to have.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately both of them have basically been told, look, you knew perfectly well coming off the final corner, you are not allowed to hit the accelerator as you come directly off the corner. You have to hold the field up and roll them along the start-finish line and wait until the yellow line before you start racing. Both drivers were basically trying to outsmart the other, and they just brought the kart out of acceleration, because the problem is you can't accelerate until the straight, because if the leaders come off the final corner and start accelerating, they leave everybody else behind. That's the problem. Now, I have seen this happen in the past when the front row drivers have actually been asked to go to the back of the grid because they cannot control the pace. I don't know whether that's going to be the case this time. This isn't going to be a long restart procedure at all. They're going to start from their original grid positions, but of course they have to bring their mechanics onto the circuit to help them push start once again. But Nigel Edwards, the arm of the law, quite clear to the two drivers, you know what the policy is. We told you this in the driver's briefing on Thursday. Don't do it again.
And it's not easy as well for the other drivers, because, you know, now they're going to have to restart the engines. They're going to have to put the tires back up to temperatures. That's one extra formation lap, which means more demanding for the engines, for the machines, and for the young men as well. So you need to get back into proceedings. You need to focus as well straight on. And it's never easy when you're back into the heat moment and then you have to cool it down just a tiny bit because of the fault of others. That's part of racing. That's part of what we're doing here. But let's see this time around if Kian Fardin and Noah Wolf will be able to control the pack much efficiently as the mechanics make their way back to the sidelines. Watching along already on the live timing, brought to you by Apex Timing and available on FIAKarting.com as always. So we go around for a third time. It's been a while since we had 3 attempts to go for a rolling start, but I guess that's part of the learning progress that they have to go through, those young drivers, as we said, on the first row of the grid. They don't have a lot of experience of rolling start at that level of competition. And let's not forget, this is the World Championship, you know, and some of them might not be in the easiest position. They have to collect the points, they have to secure the results, and, you know, that puts pressure on their little shoulders.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out that neither Kian Fardin, Noah Wolf, Andrea Dupé or Peter de Gieve on the opening 2 rows of the grid have ever been in as high a position as this on a starting grid of a World Championship event. So it's big, big pressure for them. Now, the drivers behind them have done it in the European Championships before, so they have a little bit more experience of it. But look, this is a bit more like it. Fardin has to back the field up. Wolf has to back the field up. Now, the key factor here is when they start accelerating. They've backed the field up big time, but they can't just hit the throttle the second they come off the apex of the corner. They have to wait until they actually come into the tram lines. That's when you should start accelerating. You should really be holding it until the yellow line. So there's a little bit of grace. It's still a reasonably fast start, but I think that should be okay. And it is. We go racing. That's more like it. Up to the first corner. And it's already a big push forward as Kian Fardin gets into the lead in front of Andrea Dupé. Noah Wolf slots into 3rd position as they make the push for the 2nd corner. Everybody else managing to get through the hairpin without too many dramas. Looks as though they're going to settle this on the first lap, and Noah Wolf is already right in behind, trying to make his bid. There's a spin. 2 karts have come together then on the chicane. So there is already an investigation into Kian Fardin and to Noah Wolf. So both drivers are under investigation after having to have the race red flag, but Andrea Dupé is going to try and get on with this. Those are the 2 karts involved in their incident further back. That is Martti Ryttönen and Kimi Tani, the privateer. So problems, unfortunately, for those 2 as they exit the scene of the accident. Further round the lap, Noah Wolf is trying to shake off Enzo Tarvanichkul, who comes round the outside, the young man from Thailand. Excellent push from Enzo Tarvanichkul. He is absolutely in resolute form. Now Noah Wolf has got pressure from Joshua Graham, who dives in up the inside. Graham versus Wolf, down to the apex, and Graham is through. Nice overtake, and Noah Wolf slots back into what is now P6 behind Tame Saleh.
Lap number 1 completed out of 7 into turn number 2. Beautifully made round the inside of the 185. Enzo Tarvanichkul keep on going his way and takes 2nd place from Andrea Dupé. The Thai driver on a charge indeed, having to start from 5th on the grid, but he lost no time at all to make his bid and fight his way through to 2nd. Now his next one is Kian Fardin, the pole sitter and leader of this race, on the way to the hairpin, holding the door, and Andrea Dupé is trying to hold on to 3rd position, but he has a couple of drivers. Joshua Graham, the first one, trying to give him a hard time. Tame Saleh, Noah Wolf, dropping down to a 6th place. Noah Wolf didn't have the best of outcome in one of his races with an incident in the last lap yesterday, so having to make up for a lot of ground lost, and that's what he needs to do, even though the confidence remains quite high. 4th driver in the tussle for 2nd place, Andrea Dupé. 3rd place it is, sorry, Andrea Dupé, Joshua Graham, Sam Saleh, and there he goes for the move. Oh, that was a very close one, but Enzo Tanvanishkul goes for it as well. Beautifully made for the two. So Tanvanishkul in the lead with Kian Fardin just behind. 105 is going to try his bit once again. This is very close. He goes back into 1st position as Enzo Tanvanishkul is going to try again. That was a very close call on turn number 2. There was no room to go near.
Here he comes again.
And yeah, it is. They're hairpin. That's the one.
Up on the inside, Tanvanishkul nails it this time at the end of the back straight. Jensen Graham having a great tussle with Tame Saleh, the German, as well. Saleh making his way through into 3rd place ahead of the young British new boy. So Jensen Graham in front of Noah Wolf, Andrea Dupé, and then in the 120, that is Tiziano Monza, the Paralin driver, really starting to shake it up there as Tanvanishkul goes defensive into the inside line. Fardin's coming back at him, and Kieran Fardin's going to get the move. Watch out for Tame Saleh. Saleh's going to dive through on the inside into 2nd place. So Tame Saleh comes through, takes 2nd position away then, and Kieran Fardin finds himself in the lead once more, and there goes Noah Wolf back on the inside of Joshua Graham. So Wolf has found his feet again, and Tiziano Monza in the Paralin finds himself there in P6 as Tame Saleh is now going after the leader, Kian Fardin, in 2nd position ahead of Tanvanishkul, Wolf, Graham, Monza, then Dupé, Agiv, Clausen and Lewis Werrell.
Watch out on the way to the hairpin. 124, beautifully made around the inside. It's going to be a battle all the way down. This is a 3-driver battle for the lead as they keep exchanging positions further back as well. We have Noah Wolf trying to put pressure on Josh Graham. Graham the other way around it should be. But now Enzo, the leader, Kian Fardin, is tumbling down the order. It's going to be a very, very hard work that he's going to have to pull out because Noah Wolf goes around the inside into the last corner. Noah Wolf on the inside as Kiafarin not on the best line, and there he goes through Noah with taking with him Tiziano Monza, wasn't it, into the turn number 1. So there's a bit of exchange in position into the process, but run inside the 210. Joshua Graham taking as well Tiziano Monza, Andrea Dupé into the mix. Dupé is losing a bit of momentum, but that's disaster for Kian Fardin.
It's also a disaster for Enzo Tanvanishkul. He's gone to the back of the queue, and it's Tiziano Monza that picks it all up. 3rd position for the Singaporean now. Tame Saleh leads the way, Noah Wolf in 2nd, Tiziano Monza in 3rd, and it's Simon Rechenmacher who has set the fastest lap of the race as he breaks into the top 10 in front of Tobias Clausen. Joshua Graham still holding on to things here in front of Kian Fardin and Andrea Dupé, with Enzo Tanvanishkul behind them all in 7th place. This is not good news for him. It's great for Anatoly Kavalkin on the sidelines watching it all unfold, because he will take back the lead at the interim standings. Up on the inside, Fardin and Graham. Graham is desperately trying to hold on, but Graham has to let him go. And as a result, he's going to lose ground and traction. Lewis Werrell nearly got through on the inside, trying to break through as Gayal Bag picks up a warning flag elsewhere. Now, Josh Graham going to try and get his move on the inside of Kian Fardin. Werrell looking for his opportunity. Fardin drifts wide. Graham drifts wide. Werrell going to get past both of them. Great move from Lewis Werrell as the Forza driver nicks up the inside of both drivers in one fell swoop.
Yeah, beautifully made from the young British driver, Joao Pajola, the fastest on track. But look at the battle go as Andrea Dupé is still trying to make his bit as we're back here onto the hairpin. The Pauline driver, this is...
that's Monza.
That's Monza indeed. Monza who just made his way through past Noah Wolf for 2nd place. Beautifully made for Tiziano Monza, who climbed 10 positions up to 2nd in front of Noah Wolf for 2nd. So that's going to be very short indeed and very tight all the way to the checkered flag. Noah Wolf down in 3rd, trying to stake within close reach for Tiziano Monza as they make their way past on the start-finish straight for the penultimate time. Tame Saleh, your leader, almost a 2nd in front of Tiziano Monza. Noah Wolf in 3rd. Lewis Werrell, brilliant race indeed from the British driver, up into 4th. Then we have Joshua Graham, Enzo Tanvanishkul. It might not be over yet.
This is a very important win coming up for Tame Saleh, and a brilliant fight back from Tiziano Monza, the Singaporean in the Paralin, really starting to make his play on the Saturday morning here at Sarno. But obviously Tame Saleh is going to be holding on fast here from Tiziano Monza and Noah Wolf, with Lewis Werrell and Joshua Graham running in the top 5. So an excellent performance so far. But Enzo Tanvanishkul is still going to be there in the top 6, so he's only going to lose a few points by comparison to his rivals out there, but it certainly showcases that every single race counts. Out of the final turn, Tame Soleil is going to move up into third in the interim rankings with this victory. A great run from the German, looking one step closer to the top spot. Monza in second, Wolf in third, Werrell in fourth ahead of Graham and Tarvanitschkull. Very smooth performance from Tame Soleil, getting faster and faster all the way through the week. And the German star really starting to look very authoritarian out there on the course as he picks up a victory at a critical moment in his week as well. You really want to get those victories under your belt, and Tame Soleil really starting to settle things out in his way. So the German going well ahead of Tiziano Monza and Noah Wolf. Excellent performance then from the Kart Republic as he manages to make good use of the situations around him. But Tame Soleil very much in his stride as he continues to make progress. And a very solid effort from the German thus far. Just needs to keep the pressure rising and keep everything motivated from his point of view. He's looking very calm and comfortable out there at this moment in time. So an excellent run from the German Tame Soleil, who will come home in front of Monza and Wolf. Still a few things that need to be sorted out post-race, of course. Tame Soleil, though, the victor from Tiziano Monza and Noah Wolf. Lewis Werrell and Joshua Graham, 3 Brits in the top 5 ahead of Enzo Tarvanitschkull. Then Andrea Dupé from Kian Fardin, Peter Ogive and Simon Rechenmacher. Tobias Clausen in front of Elliot Kaczynski. Guy Albag in front of Kirill Kutskov. Sandro Perez, Alex O'Grady and Sebastian Kaupeng. The Finnish driver Joel Pajola for Sodi Kart came home in 18th place in front of Leo Robinson in his Lando Norris chassis for Ricky Flynn, and Sasha Avriel, who fought his way up 7 places on this occasion to P20. Then it is Max Walton ahead of Timofey Mikhailov, Mario Germano Nito, Gabriel Sarno and Jindra Pazel, the Beryl driver, who finds himself in 25th. Just the collision between Marto Rittonen and Kimi Tani on the opening lap to sweep up. What a fabulous battle, and an important victory for Tame Soleil, who made up 5 places there compared to Tiziano Monza, who made up 10 to work their way forward. Lewis Werrell also making up 10 places, so clearly their setup on Saturday much better than what they were able to come up with on Friday. So